2D platformers are my bread and butter. I grew up with a lot of them, from Mario, Sonic, and Donkey Kong Country. The indie scene is no stranger to the genre, especially since platformers were one of the pioneers of the indie scene. One of these indie platformers that caught my attention, thanks to a Let's Play and overview, was Azure Striker Gunvolt. Azure Striker Gunvolt was developed by Inti Create, a Japanese developer made up of former Capcom staff, founded in 1996, then released their first game in 1998 with speed-powered gunbike. However, their first game that came out in the West was Mega Man Zero. Alongside creating the Mega Man Zero games, they also developed Mega Man 9 and 10, Blaster Master 0, 1 and 2, Dragon Mark for Death, and the Galgun games. Azure Striker Gunvolt was Inti's first self-published game that was originally released on the Nintendo 3DS eShop, but I'll be looking at the version that was added in the Striker Pack for the Nintendo Switch. So, what is Azure Striker Gunvolt about? Set in the future, a number of people have recently been gaining new superhuman abilities. These people are called Adepts. The shady corporation, the Sumeragi group, are using their abilities for evil, and it's up to the Renegade team Quill as well as Gunvolt to take them down. The first mission has Gunvolt to hunt down and kill the human, a virtual pop idol who has the ability to track and control Adepts. However, it turns out the human is a young adept named Joel who is being controlled by the Sumeragi group. Instead of killing her, Gunvolt breaks her free and promises to protect her, which leads Gunvolt and Quill to go in their separate ways. No, that doesn't really mean much, as all the missions involve Gunvolt working with Quill anyway. Compared to a lot of 2D platformers, Gunvolt is more plot driven, with a sprinkle of world building, but the actual narrative is simple of taking down the evil corporation and tackles themes like discrimination, with the Adepts being seen as the minority group. Think something on the line with X-Men. Some of the cutscenes are presented in still images, however most of the dialogue comes from in-game, which I do like when games do this, with one of the best examples being Kid Icarus Uprising. Unfortunately, on your Uprising, that has an English dub, Gunvolt is entirely in Japanese with only English subtitles. This wouldn't be an issue if it was a visual novel or a slow-paced interactive adventure game, and I don't mind subs in my TV shows and films, but for a fast-paced 2D platformer, it can be hard to concentrate to what the characters are saying, unless if you get your butt kicked or you understand Japanese. I think the lack of portraits of characters doesn't help either to understand how the characters feel, and this is the same as apparently Inti Create was originally going to have an English sub, which I feel would benefit the story. I do enjoy the majority of characters like Gunvolt, most of the Adepts, and Joel, who have a lot of personality. In between missions, GB can talk to Joel, and I found this is where both characters shine, as their relationship is so sweet. Plus, this is the part of the game where you can react and pay attention to the characters. After the opening act, you get to choose between multiple stages, with each having a boss at the end. Like Mega Man X, you can jump, wall jump, shoot and dash. No, on that X, GV's pistol doesn't do much damage, at least not by itself. Instead, he tags his enemies with his pistol, and then finishes them off with his electric powers. The levels themselves are fun, diverse, and uses GV's abilities to the fullest. Like in the data store stage, it has magnetic ceilings that makes GV hover in the air when he uses his flash field. And in the Stratochrome stage, where GV must use his flash field to light up the dark areas. Same applies to the bosses too, who are extremely fun and challenging, like Stratos, who uses a swarm of birds to attack you, and Ys, who is difficult on the first try, but on repeated playthroughs seems to be one of the most creative bosses, and one of the only few who uses the resurrection gimmick into good use. The only boss I generally dislike is Red Guy, as the arena you fight him is quite claustrophobic, with firewalls at each side, and his insane special move feels like it's being a bullet hell game and not in a 2D platformer. You can blast through stages like any run down platformer, but the real meat and potatoes lie within the Kudo system, which you would gain more points by consecutively killing enemies, and the points can be multiplied by killing enemies at the same time, killing an enemy in the air, or how many attacks you fire at them. Before entering the stage, you can set between 3 tutor settings. You won't use any points if you choose yes, but you will be rewarded yes at the end of the stage. Courses is the default, and you have 3 tries before using all your points, and then you have failures, for those who want to play furiously and get that perfect ranking. If you hit a checkpoint marker, your score so far will be permanently kept. If your tutor points goes through 1,000, the music changes into a J-pop track that is chosen at random, sang by the human herself, which is a good reward for skillful players. I enjoy the tutor system as it's a fantastic way of adding multiple difficulties as well as replay value. Azure Striker Gunvolt does have an official easy and hard mode, but I wouldn't really recommend them, with easy mode being too easy and hard mode is practically a one-hit death challenge. There is a chance if GB dies, he will be brought back to life by the human, which gives him infinite jumps and unlimited flash fields, but you will not unlock any more points. This is good for beginners to play for more of the difficult moments and has saved my stim numerous times, but for 1 it's random and 2 there isn't an option to turn it off. At the end of each stage, you will be given a rank, and the higher the rank, the more chances you can get of earning new materials that you can use to synthesize new equipment. These ranges from taking yes damage to getting a double jump. Unfortunately, the materials you get are entirely random, meaning the equipment you want that can give you a new ability can take a while, as you will be repeating levels until you get it. There are extra challenges that can help you get any specific material you need. However, even the challenges are flawed, as while the challenges themselves aren't too bad, you have to manually select them before you start a mission, and you can only select 3 at a time. Even if you completed a challenge on your first try in a new stage, it won't count, as the stage specific challenges will only unlock when you beat the stage for the first time. This is just unnecessary padding. The materials aren't the only thing that fills that unnecessary padding, but I'm afraid I will be done into spoilers, so if you want to avoid spoilers, I recommend skipping to this time. In order to get the true ending, you need to get all the hidden jewels in each of the 7 stages, which aren't hard to find, and you need to give it to Joel. Unfortunately, even if you get all the jewels and you beat the 7th stage, Joel gets kidnapped before you can give it to her, and you need to get the bad ending first to get the true ending, which means you have to fight the final boss twice, which by itself is pretty long, with having 2 phases that you need to beat with 1 life. If you can go out and give the jewels to Joel first, before she gets kidnapped and enter the final stages, then this wouldn't be an issue. There is an exclusive fight if you do decide to get the true ending, but I wish that the game rewards the player for going beyond the standard route, and not force the player to repeat the same level. If you're a fan of Mega Man and J-pop music, then you probably like Azure Striker Gunvolt's music library. The lead composer for the game is Ippo Yamada, who contributed to many of Inti Create's games, and most notably well known for the Mega Man Zero series, as well as my favourite Mega Man soundtrack, Mega Man 9. The level music all fits well with the futuristic setting, but it does decide to go out of its comfort zone, with the Stratotome stage being more at home with a horror game, which is probably why it's my favourite level track in the game. The J-pop tracks are played by Joel's and the human's voice actress, Medu Sukagawa, who is known for her roles in the Love Life and Band Dream series, and these tracks are the highlight of the game's soundtrack, as they are excellent reward for experienced players and integrate gameplay and story well. For being originally a 3DS game, Gunvolt looks great, with amazing sprite art, and the animated portraits seen in the super chats really give off the shonen anime vibe. I like how even the bosses have unique portraits in their super moves too. It's very flashy. Since originally being a 3DS game, the assets had to be upscaled, and some of the assets like the title screen and the menus didn't transition well. Azure Striker Gunvolt is a fun time, with the core gameplay being fast and fun, and the tutor system is a good way of bringing players back for more. I enjoy the majority of my time, but it kind of trips around the end for me, with the unnecessary jewel hunting and the way the materials and gaining new abilities are handled. If you enjoy the Mega Man titles, especially the early X games, then I recommend giving Gunvolt a shot. It's part of the Striker Pack for the Nintendo Switch and the PS4, but if you just want to try out the first one, it's available as a standalone title on Steam for €1 price, especially in a sale. For being the first game in the series, it's bound to happen to have a few issues, but that's what a sequel is for, which I'll be getting into soon.